Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 18 hours since my last confession. Things haven't gone quite to plan. I really was going to kill myself. My mind was set, but first I needed closure. One last visit to Elizabeth's house, a final goodbye. Then straight to the cliff to perform my now famous impression of a lemming. Did you ever hear that story about how Paul McCartney wrote Yesterday? The tune came to him in a dream. He played it to all his friends to see if anyone knew what it was before he finally accepted that he'd written it. My life's felt like that lately. Everything's been such a mess, and I couldn't quite believe it was my doing. Couldn't believe I'd composed such a monstrous life. I felt like someone else must be somehow responsible. But they're not, are they? It's all my fault. I've never had anything in my life that just felt right, like things were the way they were supposed to be. Well, just once, when I was with Elizabeth. That felt right. I think that's why I couldn't let her go, and why now, at the end of my life, I found myself breaking into her house one final time. It's annoying, actually. She's having to take buses while her arm's in the cast, which means I can't tell if she's in from the presence or absence of the car, and when she does go out, I can't deduce where she's been from the readings of her odometer in my little notebook. I found the odd bus ticket in her bin, but for the most part I'm in the dark. Anyway, that was immaterial now. I just wanted one last look around before plunging to my watery grave. I know she was out because her jacket wasn't on its hook. You can see it through the letterbox. So I let myself in and made myself at home. The birdcage was still in the study, empty now, of course. I wish I hadn't had to kill that bird. I've done a lot of things I regret. Her will was still there too, I suppose, waiting for her arm to heal so she can sign it. What I couldn't find anywhere in the house, what I'd been hoping to find, the closure I needed, was something, anything from our time together. One memento of our relationship. I'd accepted now that I couldn't be a part of her future. But I needed to know that at least she hadn't erased me from her past. But no, nothing. Not the lava rock carving I got her in Iceland, not any of the films we used to watch together, not even the set of kitchen scales I gave her that Christmas. Those were good quality scales. They should have lasted years. I was really upset, Father. It was as though she'd systematically deleted me from history. And so when I searched the whole house and come up with nothing, I found myself drawn to the attic. Surely there'd be something up there. There was no light in the attic. I've got a little LED on my key fob. It's not very bright, but it allowed me to see where I was going at least, and I came across an old oil lamp that still had a good amount of oil inside. I remembered seeing a box of matches downstairs, so I soon had myself set up quite nicely, the lamp perched on a beam, burning away. Now I could have a proper look around. I searched for ages. There was all kinds of crap up there. Old furniture, boxes and boxes of hairspray and shaving foam. I remember her telling me about her dad's failed mail-order hair and beauty business. But still nothing from her time with me. It was like I didn't exist. I found a box of old Christmas cards. I thought surely there must be something in there. There wasn't. She kept a bulk mail greeting card from the local shoe repair place with a generic wishing a Merry Christmas to all our loyal customers inside. But my card containing a handwritten sonnet about her cleavage evidently didn't make the cut. There was an old mattress up there, and I lay down on it while I considered what to do next, and I found myself thinking, this is pretty comfortable. And it was obvious that Elizabeth hadn't been in the attic for years. I thought, I could live up here. I could go down and get food when she's out. I'd hear everything that went on. I've got to be honest, Father, I was tempted. I'd live with Elizabeth. But I reminded myself that what I'd been doing was wrong, and that would be even wronger. Just one last look, then I'd get out, never to return. That was the promise I'd made myself. It was clear there was nothing else for me to see, so I got up off the mattress and headed back towards the hatch. There was a crate I hadn't paid much notice before. It was full of papers and old wax cylinder records. These were the things she left to Quentin in her will because he's a collector. She told me about them once. Her granddad had been a jingle writer in the 50s. She had all these old recordings of his creations. She always said she'd like to listen to them one day, but her granddad's old player didn't work. It's got a phonograph, I think. That was up there too, beside the crate, and I thought, let's have a look. I'm pretty good with that kind of thing. Maybe this can be one last good deed I do for her. If she came home to find the working player and her granddad's recordings on the kitchen table, I bet she'd be thrilled. Turned out the problem was trivial. There was a leather belt that went around a couple of pulleys that had come loose. I slipped it back into place, inserted one of the cylinders into the machine, and turned the handle. It worked. The quality was appalling, but I could hear clearly what I assume was Elizabeth's granddad sometime in the 50s, playing the piano and singing a catchy little tune about the health benefits of Lucky Fella cigarettes. Elizabeth was going to love this. I only wished I could stay and show her in person. I tried a couple more cylinders, pulling them out of the box at random. They were stuffed in among papers, what looked like contracts, briefs, all manner of documents from her granddad's career. I wasn't interested in any of that. I just wanted to hear a couple of his jingles. There was one for Pirello Orange Squash. To quench their thirst, kids turn first to Pirello Orange Squash. And one for Dr. Haydock's denture powder. False teeth won't prevent you enjoying your day if you've sprinkled your plate with Dr. Hay. And then I played one more. And it changed everything. It was a jingle for a cleaning product called Sergeant Shine. After I heard it, I searched frantically through the papers for any mention of this jingle. They were hopelessly disorganized, but eventually I unearthed the relevant contract, and there it was in black and white. Elizabeth's granddad wrote this jingle in 1955. And that's not all. I read that contract cover to cover by the light of my little oil lamp. And it appears that the copyright was transferred to the Sergeant Shine Company for a period of 40 years, which means that in 1995 it would have reverted to Elizabeth's granddad, or presumably to his estate, which means Elizabeth. And this jingle, which was written in 1955, and which now belongs entirely to Elizabeth, went like this. Sergeant Shine cleans away all kinds of smears and grime, makes your surfaces look so sublime, so let's all get some Sergeant Shine.